The Super Speedway Podcast is a Dream Bigger media production. For news, photos, show notes, and information about advertising on the podcast, visit www.thesuperspeedway.com.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Super Speedway.
I want to say thanks to Nick Exalsi. Took a chance on us looking at a doubleheader, but when you go to Pocono, it's always packed. There's always a great camping atmosphere. It's going to be terrific. I mean, you're going to have potentially 5 races going on during the weekend, back-to-back Cup events. So it's going to be fun. We love going to Pocono, and I think the industry's really going to embrace it, and I think it'll be terrific for the fans.
Steve O'Donnell kicks us off on the podcast. It's episode 101 of the Super Speedway Podcast, recorded Wednesday, March 27th, 2019. That was Steve O'Donnell. I'm your host, Eric Young. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, James Cush. James, Steve's bringing us into it.
We got some shaking up going on.
We do.
I like it.
We do. We got a pretty interesting new schedule next year. We'll talk about it in a little bit. We'll go all crazy over the 2020 schedule and give our opinions on it and kind of pick what we like and what we don't like, if there's anything that we do like or don't like. We'll get all into that shortly, probably quicker than ever, because we had a race at Martinsville Speedway this week, the STP 500 or the Brad Keselowski 446.
Yeah.
Brad Keselowski just puts a whooping on the field, leads 446 of 500 laps. We'll get right into it here. Only 3 drivers led laps on the day. Keselowski led 446. Chase Elliott led a whopping 49, and Joey Logano led 5. And that was your race.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. No, just kidding.
Yeah. It was like the 1.5-mile version of a short track.
It was rough. I mean, it wasn't a bad race. I mean, there was some okay racing, but it wasn't what we've come to expect from Martinsville. I mean, I think back to Martinsville races, and I have to really think, if I remember correctly, I know the fall race is always more exciting than the spring race, but I just remember a lot of Martinsville races with a lot of bump and runs, a lot of spun out guys, not, big wrecks. We've had a couple at Martinsville, but generally it's spin out, hit the wall, get mad at each other, bump and bang. We really had very little of that. I mean, really.
The most exciting moment of the race was Chase Elliott. I mean, it looked like he might have something for Brad there for a moment.
Yeah.
And it just went away.
If he'd have went to the high side a little earlier at the end, he might have gotten to his bumper.
Yeah.
And Chase said he was gonna hit him.
Yeah, of course. You gotta get that playoff lock,
I wanted to see what people thought of Chase Elliott hitting him after the Denny Hamlin thing. Oh, I know they would.
Yeah.
But I wanted to see it because I wanted to see the hypocrites.
Right?
And don't get me wrong, I was bummed when Chase got spun by Denny, but I thought the only thing Denny did wrong was he did it a lap too early when he did it. I think the bump and run has a place at Martinsville, and I think that's how you race there. And,
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that are like, I keep hearing these drivers say, it's not like it used to be. People don't have respect like they used to. I don't know. I didn't do the research. I was going to go and look like Dale Earnhardt bump and runs on YouTube. But I'm sorry, one of the 3 arguably greatest drivers of all time in NASCAR was famous for the bump and run. So are you saying that Earnhardt wasn't okay doing that? Or was he one of the best drivers? Like, come on, make up your mind on that. So
Yeah. The bump and run is a commonplace at Bristol. It's
not Bristol. It's a short track move.
Yeah.
And okay, I can see the bump and run at, Daytona, probably not a great place to do it, But
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I saw Earnhardt bump people out of the way at big tracks too. So
Yeah.
I mean, it was more at short tracks back then, but we ran more short tracks back then. So
Yeah.
we didn't have all these 1.5 miles.
The Jeff Gluck # more short tracks.
Yeah.
Bring them back.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But I mean, we like you said, we saw a 1.5 mile race this weekend on a short track. So, and I guess that it goes to show you that a boring race can happen anywhere. And I think, I think we all need to kind of take a step back this year and have some more realistic expectations. I mean, I think we all got hyped up at the beginning of the season with the Vegas test. We all got hyped up that this was going to be a big thing and it was going to just make things leaps and bounds better. And I don't know. I mean, we're going to see it again at Texas this weekend. I don't
Yeah,
feel like the racing is worse because of this package. I
I
just
feel-
don't think it's a lot better.
I feel like we are starting to see the data piling in that we have way too much downforce
Oh,
on
yeah.
these cars.
I think so too.
If you're affected by downforce at Martinsville like they were this week, and the corner speeds are still too fast, that's a red flag. We've got to do something else, because I don't know. I think we're going the wrong direction.
Well, take
The
us into
racing
that,
has
James,
been-
because you got an article here from NBC Sports from Nate Ryan about the downforce.
Yeah. A great piece by Nate Ryan, just kind of breaking down what these teams thought about going to Martinsville. And one of the things that he talks about here is, he talked to Paul Wolf, talked to Denny Hamlin, and they were caught off guard at how much the aerodynamics meant out there. Paul Wolf basically says, they unloaded and they were caught off guard. And Denny Hamlin also points out that there was some turbulent air, from the cars in front of you, which you think about Martinsville and you're coming off the corner at what, 55, 60 miles an hour, 70
Right.
miles an hour. To have air be a problem, and that's like stunning to me that
Yeah,
we had that at Martinsville.
The average speed for the race was 78 miles an hour.
Right.
you know?
And air is a problem. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But I mean, it shouldn't surprise anybody, because if you remember back, I mean, how many years ago was it when Jeff Gordon hit the piece of cement from the corner?
Oh yeah.
And it screwed the front end of his car up, and he couldn't compete anymore. He sucked after that.
Yeah.
I mean, so and those cars weren't.
That's probably 10 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe.
and those things weren't aerodynamic like they are now.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to those things. Those things are like classic cars. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
they were
Yeah,
nothing compared to what we got now.
And aerodynamics weren't the only thing that factored into this. They talked a little bit about tire wear, being a problem too, that the tires just weren't falling off.
Right.
So a combination of things here and there, but
Yeah, I heard
Yeah,
Harvick talking about that today on his show, that the left side tires there was no wear at all.
yeah, that's crazy for especially for Martinsville when you've got an abrasive concrete surface.
Right.
In the corners like that. That's crazy to me that there, some of these things that we see, you would expect it from like Richmond, maybe even Bristol at this point, but not Martinsville.
Right. Yeah, I'm kind of puzzled over I think drag is fine. You want drag, but downforce, I don't think I felt kind of weird about this big spoiler, especially on the short tracks. I don't know why we're messing with the stuff on the short tracks. The short track package last year was fine.
Yeah.
So I don't see any reason why we screwed with that at all. I can see trying something on the bigger tracks, but again, give us some drag, but don't. I mean, I know it's kind of hard to get drag without downforce, but they don't need that giant rear spoiler on those things.
Well, and you look at ISM Speedway as another great example of, why do we have to have so much downforce
Right.
at that track? And it led to a kind of a poorer product, I think,
Yeah.
earlier this year than what we had, last year. So
I would argue that the tracks that we've run this package, this variation of the package without the aero ducts, without the tapered spacer, I would argue that this package is worse than last year.
yeah, oh yeah,
On
so
the
far.
big tracks so far, I don't think it's worse. I just don't think it's better.
Yeah, the big tracks haven't met expectations.
No.
That's different than being
Right.
bad racing.
California was a California race.
Yep.
Vegas was a Vegas race.
Vegas was Vegas. Atlanta was Atlanta.
Yeah. So I don't think we can blame the package for making those worse. I think they're what we've seen all along. But I
Just
I
got
certainly
slower
do think,
cars.
yeah,
And you've got higher corner speeds, which the teams will argue is a detriment. I tend to agree that higher corner speeds isn't great, but neither here nor there. So
well,
yeah,
let's put it this way too. The lower down or the lower horsepower is something we need. We need that, and it's not to make the racing better. It's to open the doors for more manufacturers.
exactly.
So
yeah.
we need
just
to find a package that works with the lower horsepower.
Yeah, and maybe we just need to take the downforce away so we have some throttle response.
Yeah. I don't know.
When these guys hit the gas pedal, it should do something other than just go faster. Than be loose, be tight, something.
Right.
But
Winners and losers. Brad Keselowski is the winner. Everybody else is a loser.
yeah, we had no attrition in this race. We
Yeah.
had one engine and two guys pulled off for brakes, which
Yep.
you could argue are probably just starting parks anyway.
Right. Yeah. Jeb Burton, Cody Ware. Cody Ware. The race is better with Cody Ware off the track.
Yeah, we had 20 cars on the lead lap at Martinsville.
Hmm.
That's a lot I feel like.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that's good. We want cars on the lead lap. That's not a bad thing. It's just I'm surprised that as little, we didn't have the cautions and the field wasn't jumbled up as much, and we still had 20 guys on the lead lap.
Right.
You think long green flag runs and such, you would have less, but
I think there were some surprises in the field. Let me see here. Ryan Newman. Everybody was calling for Ryan Newman to run well here, and they'd been running better than that car has run. He comes home 23rd.
Yeah.
William Byron 22nd.
Jimmy
Johnson. Yeah.
I saw a lot of people
24th
freaking out on Twitter about Johnson not running well at Martinsville. And I'm like, well, he hasn't run well, in a couple of years. But yeah, to be 2 laps off the pace.
Yeah.
Just not being fast. That's weird.
Joey Logano finished 19th. He finished behind Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, he had the pole and just never did anything with it.
Yep.
He just kind of faded. Bubba had a nice run. That's a good run for that team.
Yeah. Kyle Larson 18th, which is funny because Kyle says this is one of his favorite tracks, but he's not good there.
No, he's not statistically good there yet. But this is a track where he will figure it out at some point. It's just not. He just hasn't figured it out yet.
Paul Menard 15th place finish. Ryan Preece 16th. That's good for Ryan.
Yeah. Good top 10 runs for Almirola and Daniel Suarez. Almirola just continues to be super consistent.
Yeah.
He's like the new Mr. Consistency in the Cup Series. He is always sniffing in the top 10, top 5.
Yep.
He's not racking up wins. He's just there. He's just there every week.
Yes, he is. Let's see. Who was I just looking at? Ty Dillon, 13th place finish. Good for him.
Yep. Bowman was up there too.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's not a whole lot of bad other than I feel like the Roush guys, Johnson and maybe Byron. I mean, that's Logano. And like you said, that was pretty much it. There wasn't a lot of cars in the field. I mean, we only brought 36 cars, too. Didn't even have a full field by 4.
Clint Boyer did the Clint Boyer thing and just freaking imploded and still got a 7th place finish.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he wouldn't have gotten 2 speeding penalties and got mad at both of his teammates?
He's had some epic knucklehead moments this season so far. Really weird.
That's Clint Boyer, man. He's a knucklehead.
He is a knucklehead, but
I love him, though, but he's a knucklehead.
Great driver, but yeah, he does some pretty funny things sometimes. I'm surprised. Yeah. Man, yeah, I'm just trying to think if anybody else stood out other than Chase Elliott and Brad. Kyle Busch, he was kind of junk all day and made something out of it.
Yeah, did the Kyle Busch things.
Yeah. And that's scary that he had a really bad day and ended up 3rd place.
Yes.
Just to show you how good he really has been this year.
Yes, I agree. Let's see here. Looking really quick. So Eric Almirola, you mentioned him. 6 races, he's had 5 top 10 so far.
Yeah,
but only one top 5.
Yeah.
So,
but that's like I said, he's just sniffing around.
Yep.
He's just there.
Yep.
And those cars are not quite up to snuff with Gibbs and Penske just yet.
Yeah.
So the fact that he's just there is a good sign for that team.
Yep.
He's even better this year than he was last year. He's made that another nice little gain so far. I wouldn't be surprised if he came out won Texas, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be a threat to win anywhere, I think, right now, the way he's running.
Yeah, he's right there. He's one of the guys.
So Brad Keselowski gets a 2nd win of the season. I think safe to say Keselowski's a threat this year. I think Kyle Busch obviously is a threat.
Yeah.
Those are, I think, your big 2 right now, don't you think?
I was looking at earlier this week. I jumped in really quick just to look at Brad Keselowski versus Kyle Busch career numbers. Kyle Busch has won 10% of his Cup starts.
That's insane.
I know. It's crazy. Brad Keselowski's over 8.5% of his Cup races, though.
Wow, nice.
That's not that far off. Like I thought it was a little bit bigger gap, but Brad, he's had a couple of seasons. Yeah, he's had 2 seasons where he's had, he squeaked out a win during his, I'd call it like his peak with Penske.
Right.
But yeah, he's already racked up 2 wins this year, so he's going to be, he's a legit contender with Kyle Busch and the rest of the Gibbs, Penske. Those 7 cars that they got they're all going to be really tough, I think. I think Blaney's coming. He had a nice top 5. There's some good guys that are, they're just going to keep putting up numbers. I think Keselowski might be Kyle Busch's foe. It's kind of shaping up that way.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I think a Brad Keselowski Kyle Busch feud for the championship would be excellent.
Would be awesome.
I mean, I don't know that they're in the same place as they were when they feuded before, but I don't know that that's a bad thing either. No, they don't.
I think they respect each other.
Yep.
But Kyle Busch has never come around
No.
on Brad. I feel like Brad has tried to
Yeah.
open the door there, but
He's a nice
Kyle,
guy, so he's gonna try and
yeah, but Kyle just doesn't like. I mean, Kyle just does not like Brad.
yeah.
And it's evident, man. He just wants nothing to do with that guy.
I do want to point out that Brad was my pick last week to win this race.
Yes. Yep,
and like
that
a
was great.
freaking idiot, I didn't pick him for my fantasy team.
I had him on the fantasy team.
Yeah, so did everybody else apparently.
Yeah, I rolled with Brad on the fantasy team.
We'll talk about that coming up too. So, anything else from this race? Anything?
Let's leave Martinsville in the dust. We look forward to the fall race.
We kind of put more time into it than I expected to begin with. So,
yeah,
we'll look forward to the fall, and next year we'll run it under the lights, but we'll get to that in a minute. So, James, I didn't put this as a Do We Care topic, but I have a feeling you want it to be a Do We Care topic, and it's at the right place for it. So, before we get to the 2020 schedule and probably most of our conversation in this podcast, we've got some new qualifying rules this weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. So let's run down what we've got. So first of all, the vehicles not immediately making a qualifying attempt will be staged in a track-specific area designated by NASCAR. Once a vehicle leaves that area, it must continue directly onto the track. It can't stop at the end of pit road and wait. Any driver that does not take a lap in any of the qualifying rounds will have all previously posted times in the session disallowed. Now, this is interesting because we have had instances where drivers have gotten a flat tire in the second round, not gone out for the third round, or whatever, and still been able to hold their position. They won't be able to do that anymore under this new rule. Any driver who blocks pit road will be penalized if NASCAR decides that they did it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So that's what we got going into Texas. James, do you care?
You and I actually were tweeting back and forth on this a little bit.
Yeah.
My thought was wait till they start screwing around on the backstretch and horsing around before they take the lap.
What is the inevitable finish to this? We go back to single car, right? Eventually?
It's going to eventually. This is going to. They're going to screw around enough where they're going to take it away.
NASCAR has basically said with this announcement that they are not intending to go back to single car qualifying. But I think as soon as we have a wreck because these guys are dodging around on the track, then we finally are going to do that because that's what happened when we were doing group qualifying on restrictor plate tracks.
Yeah, Pandora's box is open on this.
Yeah. I mean, I will say they've done everything here that I asked for.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I think this helps. It definitely helps.
Yeah.
You know,
they'll find a way to screw it up still.
Yeah. I hate, and I've texted, we've texted this to each other. I hate that we are having so much hullabaloo over qualifying.
Yeah.
It really bothers me. You remember in the 90s or whatever when Allen Iverson had his rant about practice?
Not really, because I didn't watch basketball. So.
Well, I think everybody knows the practice. We're talking about practice, that whole thing.
Yeah.
I think this is where we're at with qualifying. Talking about qualifying.
But I mean, you know, I don't know. Like I've heard talk lately about, do we really need to televise practice? Do we really need to televise qualifying? It's like, okay, so obviously people tune into these, or they wouldn't televise them.
So
why take it away from the people that do want to see it?
No, Fox and NBC paid a lot of money, and they have, when NASCAR races are on the schedule, they have guaranteed content for a whole weekend.
Well, you know, it's not just NASCAR either. If you look, I know all the time in this podcast I jump back to Supercross, but Supercross has their deal with NBC this year with the NBC Gold package that allows you to watch qualifying.
Yeah, IndyCar is doing the same thing.
Yep.
Yep.
So, I mean, I don't know. I guess again, I go back to when we had the Suarez fight at Phoenix. It shows that there is some importance to qualifying still.
Yeah, I think with this rules package too, it's important.
Yeah.
Really, for these guys too. I mean, it's obviously important. They wouldn't be gaming the system like they are if it wasn't important.
Well, and the pit stall choice is really important too. It's very important. I mean, we've
it's
seen
pit stall choice. It's field position. I mean, it's hard to pass in the Cup Series. Track position matters even at the start of the race. It matters. It means something.
So I guess I like that qualifying is relevant. I just want it to be relevant for the right reason.
Yeah, and here's my answer to the do we care. I mean, I care that they're trying to fix it, but again, it really bothers me that we have such a fuss about the stuff that at the end of the day doesn't mean as much as I mean, what matters is Saturday nights and Sundays.
Right.
That's what matters.
So, question: does this solve it, or do you think
No.
they're going to monkey around and still?
No, they're not gonna. They're not gonna fix this.
I mean, I don't think people are going to risk not turning a lap in the last session, though.
We'll find out.
I don't know.
These, if anything has proven consistent with NASCAR teams over the years, they will find a way to stub their own toes, as they always do.
I think I would rather go out on my own and finish and start 12th.
Yeah, if you make the round of 3, just go make a lap. Screw it.
I'd rather start 12th than
Last,
36th.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, go make a lap. Yep.
So, all right. Well, we'll see what happens this weekend. I'm sure.
I think what we may see, Eric, are teammates working even harder together.
Yeah. Good.
You know, if you got 3 Gibbs cars in the final round,
Right.
why wouldn't they all just leave together and try
Well,
to
I don't
draft
know
off
why
each
they
other?
haven't done that already. And I know obviously there's not team orders. Every team is competing on its own, so I get that,
Right.
and that goes to show you that. But I don't see why these guys don't just
That
sit
gives-
down. Why the Ford teams don't get together and just say, okay, here's our plan. You're going to be
Well,
the lead car.
yeah, it's an immediate advantage over a single car team or any other team that's up there.
Yep.
You've got you can gang up on them and draft.
Yep.
And I think that's something we'll see.
I think so too. All right. I guess we've waited long enough, right? So let's
Main attraction.
get to it.
And everybody has just tuned out.
It's the 2020 schedule. We finally got it. Let's go down what we've got here. James, go ahead and give us the big moves. You put in the notes. You give us the rundown.
Sure. So just there's quite a few changes to the schedule, but these are the big ones that I think everybody's talking about. Number 1, ISM/Phoenix, they get the championship race, and Homestead is getting the boot. Homestead's going towards the beginning of the
It's
season
gonna be in March.
after the West Coast swing.
Yep.
So Homestead doesn't even get a playoff race anymore. They go from the greatest championship venue we've had to no playoff race.
Yep.
Next up, Martinsville gets a night race in May, Mother's Day, and they also get the final cutoff race before the championship. I love that.
Yeah.
The Bristol night race moves to the playoffs. It is the first round elimination race. Love that.
That'll be fun.
Darlington, so Labor Day weekend, kicking off the playoffs. Darlington gets the first race of the playoffs. Another one I really like.
Not only does it get the first race to playoffs, but like you mentioned, it doesn't have to move its date to do that, which is great.
Yes, which is great. Yeah, it needs to stay on Labor Day weekend. I saw NASCAR fans on Twitter freaking out that Darlington was moving again, and Bob Pockris was like, hold on. It's not going anywhere. Daytona, this is a big one for the people who are big on tradition.
I don't think it's that big, but go ahead.
It's been a tradition since 1959.
Blah,
Daytona moves from July 4th weekend to the end of the regular season. The regular season finale goes to Daytona, which moves Indianapolis to July 4th weekend. So NASCAR leaves Indy because it was too hot, and then they decided it's not hot enough for going back.
Yeah, let's go to the hottest possible time ever.
Yes, probably one of my favorite. I don't know where to rank this among my favorite. There's a lot of things I really like, but the Pocono Double. So we, instead of going to Pocono 8 weeks apart, like we have been for many years, we're doing the double. We're going to race one race on Saturday and one race on Sunday, which is going to be an interesting conversation, I think, for us. But
Yes,
that is something I really like. And then something that I think Eric hates more than anything, there's going to be a big 2-week break at the end of July for the Olympics.
Yeah.
So Eric can get on his soapbox on that one. I'm not as mad about that, but so those are the big things that are happening. I think I covered them all.
Yeah. I think you did. Let's go through these. I was trying to think about how to tackle this. So really quick.
Let's
do this
let's
first.
talk about.
Before we talk about
Go ahead.
give me your overall. If you don't get into details, is this
Like one sentence reaction?
let's do door bumper clear does checkered flag, black flag. Is it a win or is it a lose?
This is a win.
I'm with
This
you.
is a win.
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
This whole thing's a win. This whole thing that they've done is all good to me.
Okay. I agree with you. Let's go piece by piece. So ISM gets championship race. Homestead moves to March. I personally,
This is the part. This is probably what I hate the most out of this whole thing is that ISM is getting the championship race for multiple years.
is it multiple years? They didn't say multiple years, did they?
Steve O'Donnell said we have made this move with the intention that this will continue for at least a few years.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear that part. I don't like that then.
Yeah, I saw that this morning on the old NASCAR Twitter.
The only thing I like about it is that, right now you have to be good at Homestead to win the championship. And I like the fact that there's a different venue. I would have liked to see this change every year personally. And I know there's some tracks that can't possibly hold it, but at the same time, if this Pocono doubleheader thing works and we say, okay, if you're going to have 2 races in a season, you got to hold a doubleheader and you don't get 2 weeks, then you can shorten your season up and get races like, Michigan or New Hampshire or whatever to be season end. Oh God, don't make New Hampshire a season ending race. Sorry. Did not bring that up. Delete that from the podcast. But you could have a northern track be able to have a season ending race too if the season end in the middle of November.
Right.
But
I have an idea that I don't want to. You know how much I hate this. This is how we fix NASCAR conversations. I have an idea.
Okay.
I would like to see a 4-track rotation every 4 years, just like our dreaded Olympics that we're going to talk about. But why can't we go from a 1.5 mile Homestead 1 year? Why can't we have ISM? Why can't we then go to Martinsville for the championship or Bristol, a short track? And then why can't we have a road course for a championship race?
What about a big super speedway, man?
Well, you could, yeah. I mean, you could have.
Can you imagine a season ender at Talladega?
That would be fantastic. That's what I'm saying, though. Why couldn't we do a rotation?
Yeah, I would like that.
Every year going in, there's no direct advantage. I mean,
yeah,
these teams all know, hey, we got to be good in the short track if we're going to win the championship.
Yeah, and I would like to see it be something that,
like a Super Bowl.
Yeah, do it like the Super Bowl. We know 3 years out what race or what track's going to have the championship that year.
Yeah,
so they can plan ahead for it.
Yeah, shoot, Daytona could hold the championship race 1 year, make the Pepsi 400 or the Coke 400 or whatever the heck they're calling it, make it the championship race.
Right. The other thing that concerns me about this is Homestead being.
I love Homestead, man.
I know it's such a good track, and I'm afraid
it's the perfect intermediate track.
Their attendance is going to drop off significantly. It's because this race sells out.
Because it's so close to Daytona.
Yeah.
I mean they're far apart, but I mean really they're not that far. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that worries me. It worries me what happens to Homestead because hopefully Homestead lives up to it and still has good races because it's a good track.
Yeah, I'm bummed that they lost a playoff date. At least keep Homestead in the playoffs, I feel like.
But at the same
make
time,
it an elimination race. It's a great track.
Homestead's a good track to be at the beginning or the end of the season, though,
That
because it's in a
race
warm
last
area.
The races we've had there have been incredible, and last year was, the top 4 guys fighting for the championship were 1 through 4.
Yeah.
The
thing I started thinking about is, are we going to still have it where the guy who wins the championship wins the race? I have a feeling moving to a different track, it's going to get rid of that.
It could. I mean, it's a possibility. I know, a lot of drivers will give room when need be, but
True.
Yeah, I don't know. Phoenix this year was so bad in the spring as a race. I don't know. I mean, I'm concerned.
Well, NASCAR is going to want their last race of the year to be good.
They'll fix it. Yeah,
they're gonna fix this package by then.
I'm surprised they're going to Phoenix for the championship race. To be honest with you, I mean,
they put a lot of money in that place.
They did. They sure did. They put a lot of money in a lot of places too. But yeah, they
basically rebuilt that track without rebuilding the track.
It really is the Super Bowl, like just like the NFL operates. Like you build a new stadium, you're getting a Super Bowl. Like Detroit, Minnesota, you're all getting a Super Bowl. You build a new stadium, you're getting at least one. And ISM, they're getting their Super Bowl.
Except the difference is that the sanctioning body, the NFL owns this stadium. NASCAR owns this track.
Yeah, exactly. So. Yeah, the track, it's the staff and the surrounding areas being rewarded for the upgrade.
Yeah. Martinsville gets.
I hate this the most. I did just saying this is the thing I don't like the most. But it's not the end of the world. This isn't the end of the world.
No, Martinsville gets a night race in May. Final cutoff race before the championship.
Love them both.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, this was the worst kept secret in NASCAR. There was no way they were putting lights in Martinsville without running a cup race under the lights.
Hell yeah, yeah.
And we just talked earlier that the spring race tends to be the mild race at Martinsville. I bet you this changes things.
Yeah, under the lights, baby. It's
Yeah.
gonna be great.
Yep.
Yeah.
Might have to go to Virginia in
Yep.
May next year.
That final cutoff race has some potential to be incredible. Incredible. It could be some of the greatest racing of the season.
Bristol night race moves to the playoffs. It's the first round elimination race. What do you think of that?
Love that Bristol's in the playoffs now.
I think
As
the
it
fact
should.
that it's a cutoff race is going
It's
to amp
awesome.
up things.
The problem that they're going to have is they're running into college football.
Yeah.
That could be a little bit of a problem. It's a Saturday night. Tennessee is a big college program. I don't know how much it really will cut out. The TV ratings could probably hurt a little bit, but I think they'll still pack the place.
Yeah, that is a good point. I didn't think about college
They are
football.
moving it. Yeah, they are tiptoeing into college football season. With
Can
this
they
move.
work with the Tennessee teams to play during the day and then they don't have to worry about it?
Don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe the way to do it. Let's see. Darlington kicks off the playoffs, keeps its date. I mean, it's really no different. It just happens to be the way the schedule rotates around it.
Yeah.
But I like that.
My favorite thing on NASCAR Twitter was fans freaking out that the throwback paint schemes are going to have ugly green stripes. I was like, really?
Yeah.
So yeah,
They
Darlington.
can
I love
find
it.
something to complain about everything.
I know, man. It's incredible, isn't it? It was all over the place.
Daytona moves to the regular season finale.
Yeah, this is kind of a big one.
I don't think it is. I mean, I get it. I get the tradition, but I
This
don't know.
is-
I haven't felt like the Daytona. First of all, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Brickyard used to be right around this time, and I know the Daytona's always
Yeah.
been traditionally the 4th of July weekend, but it hasn't because the way the schedule has fluctuated and the way the 4th of July has fallen, sometimes Indy was closer to the 4th of July.
What was the year? Well, Indy was near August too. It was near. Oh man, it was
They
like
switched it.
Yeah,
They
there
switched
was a
it
couple.
then
of
when ESPN came on board, but before that, it was right around 4th of July, I believe.
Yeah, there was a race. Remember when Daytona first went under the lights? What was that? 98, 99?
Something like
I'm gonna
that.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Hold on. Filibuster for me. I gotta look
Oh
up.
God, that means I have to come up with something to talk about. I personally, I have no problem with moving Daytona. I think making it the regular season finale is going to be freaking awesome. I think having we've wanted a good race for the
Well, it
regular
gives
season
it-
finale for so long, and this is that crapshoot race that we need.
Yeah, this gives a Hail Mary shot to shoot.
Which is
I
what you
mean,
need in
Ricky-
that race.
Ricky Stenhouse Jr. is licking his chops, man.
Oh God, he's going to cause so many wrecks. Field better hope he
Right.
gets a win before this one.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so I found it. 1998,
Okay.
Daytona. There was wildfires and nasty stuff during the 4th of July. So Daytona got postponed, and the very first night race ever run at Daytona was run on October 17th, 1998.
That's interesting. I forgot about that.
Jeff Gordon won that race.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Huh.
Little factoid for you. Daytona has not always been on the 4th of July. It had to move once.
There you go.
So this will be the second time.
Yeah, I think this is one of the things. Is like, okay, if you're gonna wreck tradition, then give me a reason to wreck tradition. And by making this the last race in the regular season,
This will be good.
that gives me a
Yeah.
reason. It's that the benefit outweighs the negative to it.
Yeah, they could have made this Talladega, but for some reason they thought Daytona needs to have this race, and
Yeah.
I'm good with that. And we're gonna have two restrictor plate racetracks fairly close to each other in the
Right.
with the regular season finale, and then the
I
second round of the playoffs. I think Talladega is the second race.
You have to call them super
the play-
speedways
of
now,
the-
though, because they're not restrictor plate tracks anymore, man.
Exactly. Yeah, super speedways. Sorry. Yeah, I know. We got that's gonna be a $1 in the jar thing
Yeah,
for us.
exactly.
Yeah. And as for Indianapolis, I mean, I texted you this earlier this week that NASCAR's given up on attendance at that track.
Yeah.
It's a TV only property at this point.
It
so
doesn't matter where that race is.
They don't care who's there. They don't care if there's two people in the seats or not. They're just going to run the race and be done
Yep.
with it.
Yeah. So Indy moves 4th of July. It's going to be hotter than crap. Probably the worst possible time to hold a race at Indy, but there you go.
Yeah.
The one I am most excited about, and it's funny to be this excited about a race at Pocono. I'm really interested to see what the dynamics are going to be to this Pocono doubleheader. There's so many unanswered questions right now.
I love this.
Will they run the same car? Will they have to run different cars? How many cars will they have to bring to the track? How will qualifying work? NASCAR's, I mean, we heard it in the intro clip. We're talking ARCA trucks and Xfinity on that same doubleheader weekend,
It's gonna be awesome, man.
you're gonna have a lot of racing and a lot of track time. So it'll be interesting to see how it happens. And are we going to run 400 miles each day? Are we going to shorten the races? God, I hope they shorten them. I hope we run 250 to 300 miles each day. That's what we need.
You know what would be another great track for this? I hate to say it. Michigan would be perfect for this too.
Yeah.
Pocono and Michigan could both do doubles.
Yep.
It saves the fan. You think about it. If you're going to Pocono, you want to go to both races. You can camp now.
Mm-hmm.
This could be a whole different experience for people who have been going to this racetrack.
Well, and that's what they said.
It saves so much money.
That's what they said. I think it was O'Donnell. I heard him on Sirius talk about one of the reasons they chose Pocono for this is because they needed a track that had the camping.
Yeah, and Michigan is just like that.
Yep.
I think that this could be the future of a few of these. We might see 2 or 3 of these on the schedule before too long.
Yep. I'm excited about it. I know that Pocono was on my radar for a possible race for me next year because it's in that 6-hour window.
Yeah. Now you got 2 races.
Yep.
Well, and one of our loyal followers, Ranger Runyon, he reached out to us on Twitter today and asked us what our team's going to do with the cars and are they going to run the same car both races? Right. We don't know. That's the cool thing about this is this is uncharted territory for everybody.
NASCAR.com had a good video on their YouTube channel of Ryan Blaney and Joey Logano seeing the schedule for the first time, and they filmed them. They were in the studio where they did the announcement at, and it was interesting to see the reactions to it. And they were asking that same question, and Blaney pointed out that those cars get beat up so much in a race. Just without crashing, they get beat up so much that the difficulty of running 2 races with the same car. I tell you what, IndyCar has done this doubleheader thing. They still do it in Detroit. They did it for multiple races a few seasons ago. I love it. It's excellent. For me, for the IndyCar race in Detroit, it's great because you can go one day and see a full show. And if Sunday doesn't work for me, but Saturday does, heck, I can go Saturday and see the same thing,
Yeah.
And if you go for the whole weekend, you get the whole weekend. And of course, we don't have the camping opportunities in Detroit, but
right.
But I think this is great. I think it's excellent.
I think that second race has the opportunity to be even better with some of the attrition that will be built in. They're going to have guys that are tired. They've just run possibly 400 miles. We don't know what that's going to look like yet.
Right.
But they've competed at the highest level of motorsports for a full day on Saturday, and they got to go back and do it again on Sunday. It's going to be awesome.
Well, and what if you let them do the double, and you got Kyle Busch running Truck, Xfinity, and Cup on the same weekend, both days?
Kyle Busch goes for the 5-race sweep.
How great would that be? If they'll let him do it, he's going to try it.
Heck yeah, why wouldn't he?
It's a record he could put his name on. He's the only guy who swept a weekend. Why not sweep the entire weekend?
I keep thinking about these teams and how much, like, even for the mid-pack and the smaller teams, how much money this saves them too. Yeah. They could technically run the same car. Those smaller teams, they don't have to travel twice. This is huge. If this is something we're going to see more of on the schedule in the future, this could be huge for some of these teams. It's a big deal.
I would love to see something like this, as this is how we deal with multiple races at a track.
Heck yeah, man. And it opens up your schedule.
Yep.
It opens up your schedule. You got weekends off. You've got a chance to add new tracks this way.
Yep.
You
also expose people. So like Michigan right now, if you go in June, you see the Xfinity cars. If you go in August, you see the trucks. But not a lot of people go to both races. This way, you see every one of the series over the weekend. It exposes you to the entire gamut of NASCAR product, including ARCA.
Yeah.
Why not? It's a great deal. Absolutely excellent. I applaud the president and the board at Pocono for agreeing to do this.
Is this the best move of the schedule? Is this number one for you? Is this the best thing that they did? If you had to pick
I think
one,
so. Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
I don't think, and it's not necessarily because it's Pocono. It's because of what it brings.
What they're doing.
Yeah.
It's the idea.
Yep.
Yeah, it's what it means for the fans, what it means for the teams. This is such a positive.
Yeah, I think Daytona is the second, the close second for me.
This might be the best thing they've done in a decade.
Yeah.
And by them, I mean NASCAR. This is the best thing NASCAR has done in a decade.
Yep.
For the best decision they've ever made.
Yep. And then we go from the best decision to the worst one. So I hate this 2-week break for the Olympics. I get it. I understand. NBC had to say in this. They have the product at that time. They're going to put all their money into the Olympics. I will say that this Blaney and Logano were joking that they get to go to the Olympics, and it gives NASCAR a chance to cross promote if they want to with NBC, which is cool. It's a good deal. I just have a really hard time. We have never taken a 2-week break that I can remember in one of these major series, in the top notch series.
Yeah.
It really bothers me. It reminds me of when IndyCar used to do the Indy 500 and then they'd take a month off before they ran to Detroit. And it's like you have momentum going and then you're going to bail for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But okay. So as much as I hate this, the verdict is out because until we see the other two schedules, this could be a good move.
Yeah. I think Steve O'Donnell said that Trucks and Xfinity are going to run during this week.
Yes, he said that they're going to showcase those cars. So, okay, you stick Nashville in here for the Xfinity Truck Series.
Yeah, Eldora could slide in here.
You put Eldora in here for the trucks, or bring the Xfinity cars to Eldora.
Yeah.
You can make this work and make it worth. Even if it's Xfinity runs one of their road course races, like the Road Atlanta race or something like that here, something that's special. Give us a reason to watch those other series. Don't just have it at, Iowa or something like that. Give us an actual reason to watch those series, which, I mean, most of the events are companion events anyway, so these have to be races that are at non-cup tracks.
Here's another question. NBC is taking over the IndyCar stuff, right?
Yes.
So IndyCar's not going to run during this time either. There's not going to be any major race. I would assume NBC's not going to shelve NASCAR and then run
NBC's
IndyCar.
Still going to have Xfinity though during this,
right?
So.
Right, but they're not going to. Well, I'm surprised.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it.
I'm actually okay with the 2-week break. I feel like
I'm not, man. I hate off weeks.
You and I differ on the schedule. Like I am good with more time off and a little bit less racing. Not a whole lot, but a little bit less. We've talked about that at nauseum on here before.
I'm so
but
sick of teams whining because we just have too many races to go to.
This I think
I get 3
know.
weeks vacation during the year,
I
and that's pretty generous, Most people don't get 3 weeks vacation, and I don't know why they need an entire winter.
I'm not going to say how many weeks vacation I get because I'm just going to anger everybody. But what I find with the problem of this is NBC. I don't like that the TV network has this much power.
Yeah.
Over what the sanctioning body does. Obviously, they're the biggest investor. Fox and NBC are the biggest investors in NASCAR. They paid the most money, so technically they should have a say in things. But
I guess, I don't have that problem with it. I really don't. That really doesn't bother me, because you know what? I would rather NBC goes, listen, we're going to be putting all of our coverage into the Olympics. Can we work something out? Rather than say, okay, we're going to have the Cup race, but it's going to be on CNBC.
Here's the problem with this too. Like nobody watches the Olympics anymore.
Right.
Ever. Like nobody. I might just be speaking out of turn here, but
I don't watch them. But
nobody cares about the Olympics.
No.
Like I'm sorry. Like I know it's like American pride and woohoo and rah rah and nobody cares about the Olympics, man.
No.
Sorry. Like it was a cool thing years ago, but now it's just a money pit, and you see what these Olympics do to all these countries that build up these cities, and it's a mess, and nobody watches. And
yep.
Sorry. That's my like mini soapbox. I'm like apologetic that I don't like the Olympics.
Right. So Jenna Fryer had a column on AP prior to the schedule being released, where she pointed out a couple interesting things, and I clicked on the article. Let's see. The title is NASCAR schedule may not be the overhaul fans sought, and I'm like, oh boy, I'm going to be mad at Jenna right now. I'm going to get irritated with this because she's going to rip NASCAR, because Jenna's not quiet about things when she has an opinion on things. And there's a lot of people in NASCAR that aren't a big fan of Jenna.
She ruffles. She ruffles the feathers.
I personally don't have any problem with her, but actually I thought the piece was pretty interesting. And one of the big things she pointed out was that, these tracks are under this 5-year agreement, and they're under that 5-year agreement till 2021. 2021 is the first year they're not under that agreement. So
Right.
NASCAR can't make big changes. They can't
No,
move
they
a
can't
date.
take dates away.
They
Yeah.
can't move a date more than 2 weeks.
Right.
Unless the track agrees to it. So that just goes to show you how big this Pocono thing is, that the track had to sign off on this to make it
And if-
happen.
Right. And if you don't think NASCAR and these tracks have been working on 2021 for the last 3-4 years,
Right.
I mean, this is already 2021 has been in motion for many years already. They're being prepared because it's going to shake. It's going to be shaken.
Yeah. So I think that's why we're seeing this doubleheader, because I think that's a precursor to what we're going to see in 2021 possibly.
Yep.
I think, if you're looking for dates to be added to tracks, you're looking for a track like Nashville to get on the schedule, or Iowa, that's the time you're looking for, is 2021.
Yep.
But it's a
Rock?
good point. Yeah, the Rock.
The Rock is looming. They
yeah.
released a logo today.
Nice.
So
Nice.
they are coming.
So before we head off of this 2020 schedule, what didn't we see that we wanted? Like, what are we missing here? What disappointments do we have, I guess?
I think fans wanted to see something new, like new tracks on the schedule, but like you said, that's not possible. So we can't have that. We can't be disappointed by something that's not possible.
And I warned a few weeks ago that we probably weren't going to see that. You're not going to see. First of all, you're not going to see a track get added to the Cup Series ever anymore without seeing it in the Xfinity Series or the Truck Series first. It's not going to happen. So if you want a track to run in the Cup Series, you've got, what do you got? Eldora, Iowa, Road Atlanta, Road America.
Nashville. Yep, Nashville.
Well, Nashville doesn't have an Xfinity date yet, though. So
right, but
it's coming. Yeah, it's coming.
Nashville's coming.
But you're going to know it's coming because it's going to be an Xfinity and Trucks first.
Yeah, Nashville's coming. Like Nashville's going to have a Cup date. It's just a matter of when. They're investing so much into it. It's coming.
Right. So that's number one. I think the biggest thing that I'm missing so far is I would like to see I'd like to see NASCAR work something out with IndyCar and do a doubleheader weekend with them.
Yeah, that's a good idea. No, I do like that.
It'd be great to see him come, IndyCar come back to Michigan or something like that and do it there. Michigan would be a great track for IndyCar.
I'd love for NASCAR and IndyCar to merge the Brickyard and Indianapolis 500 weekend somehow.
Man, can you imagine?
I think that would be the way to go. Let NASCAR
It'll never happen.
No, because NASCAR will never admit to taking the back seat on anything.
No.
But yeah, NASCAR should be like the Xfinity Series for the Indy 500. That's something I've always thought would be a good idea.
I bet you it would beef up attendance a ton.
Oh heck yeah, people are already there, man. Run them on Saturday, and there could be some tire compound issues and things like that. And I know, but there's nothing on this schedule change, Eric, that disappoints me. I mean, there's some things that I'm like, I don't know, but I mean, this is as big of a shakeup as we've had, and we have to be.
This is huge.
Yeah, have to.
This is. I think the last time we had a shakeup like this was what, 97, when we added California and Texas and Atlanta reconfigured.
Yep.
I mean, we haven't had a shakeup like this since.
This is rejuvenating.
Yeah.
That's my takeaway. Like, this whole thing is rejuvenating for the fan base because it gives us a little different look, and NASCAR is guilty of giving us the same old for so long that it's nice to see some new ideas, some new things, make things a little bit fresher. I think it's all positive. Even the things that I might not be super happy about are still positives.
Well, and let's look at this real quick before we move on. We start the playoffs with Darlington on September 6th. We go to Richmond and Bristol. That first round of the playoffs, aside from Darlington, is short tracks.
Beautiful.
Absolutely awesome. You go to Vegas, Talladega, and then you go to the Roval. You got a mix.
2 wild cards
in
one round.
You get 2 wild cards in one round. You've got a mix of 3 completely different tracks.
Yep.
And then you go Kansas and Texas, 2.5 miles. You get comfortable, and then let's go to Martinsville.
Let's go to Martinsville. Shake them up.
Let's run a short track race, and then we go to a quasi short track / road course / oval,
whatever,
with ISM Raceway.
Yeah, 1 mile track, whatever you want to call ISM. Yeah.
I think the playoffs look beautiful.
Yeah. I love it, man. It's good stuff.
Yep. I think they've done a great thing. The only other disappointment that I have is, 2 more disappointments. One would not have been possible under the current agreement is I would have liked to see him try a weeknight race. And 2,
that is missing. A Wednesday night show or Thursday night show.
Yep. 2, I think they needed to do something with the All-Star race. Either move it or run that as your Wednesday night race. You know, run the All-Star race Wednesday night, Thursday night run the trucks, Friday night
run the Roval under the lights if you're going to keep it at Charlotte.
There you go.
Sorry.
Yeah. So anyway, those are the only things I'm missing, but I'm not disappointed.
This Pocono doubleheader, though, just to go back to it for one last thing, this is another way we can open up the midweek racing.
Yeah.
You could run. You could get the teams to a track. You could run a Thursday night show somewhere if it has lights, like Chicagoland. Let's just use it as an example. They have lights.
Yep.
You could run a Chicagoland night race, and then you could run a Chicagoland race on Sunday.
Yep.
You know, you could do a twofer. So, this Pocono thing is opening
up.
The
crew chiefs are screaming at you right now.
Okay, I know.
No,
but that's
now we're not running 2 races 24 hours apart. Now we're running 2 races 12 to 18 hours apart, James.
Exactly. Well, I know. But this Pocono thing, that the fact that they got it through is a game changer.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's just a complete game changer, and it's going to open up the schedule so much. It's really going to be a benefit.
So here's the deal: if you're in this area and you're looking to go to a race, and you've been thinking about going to Pocono, frickin' go to this race, bring your camper, go enjoy the weekend, and show NASCAR this is what you want.
Yes.
If you do that, we'll do it again, I'm sure.
Yep.
So, all right, with that, we go to Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. It is the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500 at Texas Motor Speedway, and I have somewhere here some stats that I'm going to run off because I found a little secret stash on the NASCAR media site. James, I got a little pop quiz for you.
Okay, hit me. Let's do it.
Trick question to start out with. Who won the first NASCAR race at Texas Motor Speedway?
That would be Jeff Burton.
You are incorrect, sir.
Dang it.
Jeff Burton won the first Cup Series race at Texas Motor Speedway. Mark Martin won the first NASCAR National Series race.
Super
at Texas
excited
Motor
about that answer, too.
Martin won it on April 5th, 1997, the day before the Cup race. Jeff Burton, sure enough, won his first race as the first race.
Give me
Texas
another
Motor
one.
Speedway.
I'm ready to go now.
Oh, I don't think I have another one for Texas. I don't have any more trivia. I just came up with that one. Let's see. Who won? Okay, I got one for you. Who won the first NASCAR Monster Energy Cup Series playoff race at Texas Motor Speedway?
In the history of the chase or the playoffs?
It would have been the chase, I believe, back then. I'll give you a hint. I'll give you a hint.
2004.
Nope. November 6, 2005.
Oh, yeah. 2005.
Was their first playoff race.
Okay, give me a hint.
I just did. November 6, 2005. It was in 2005, man.
Dang it. 2005?
I don't know if I could give you a hint that wouldn't give it away.
Oh, my God. I mean...
Okay, this guy is no longer in the Cup Series.
Guy's no longer in the Cup Series. Was it Carl Edwards?
There you go. Carl Edwards.
Not bad. Not bad.
Let's see. What else? Anything else interesting? They had a repave in 2001, 2002, between those 2 seasons. Texas, when they built it, had the corners were interesting at Texas. So the banking at most tracks you'll finish the turn, and the banking continues past the turn and then slowly falls off onto the straightaway. Well, Texas had this thing where the banking kind of stopped at the end of the turn, and so cars would come off and smack the wall, like coming off a 4 and coming off a 2. And so they reconfigured it and repaved it and kind of fixed that and made it a little less crazy.
Was it the very first race where they just wadded everybody up in the first couple of laps?
Turn 1, DW spun right in front of the field.
Well, I'm not.
Underwent its second repave between the 2016-2017 seasons, where we got the new deal in turn 1 and completely changed the look of the track and made it a royal pain for crew chiefs trying to set cars up there. So
yeah, you got the wide sweeping turn 1 and 2, and then you got the narrow, tight, high banked 3 and 4.
There you go. 36 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series races have been run at Texas Motor Speedway. 161 different drivers have competed in at least one Cup Series race at the track. 132 have competed in more than one. Let's see. Who has had the most starts at Texas Motor Speedway? There's one for you, James.
The most starts, that would be that's a tie.
You look it up?
No, I have the racing reference page open. It's Kurt Busch and Kevin Harvick.
There you
32.
go. There you go.
Yes.
Nice. Now you're cheating. I was going to ask you average finish, but if you're smart, you have that open already. Ryan Blaney leads all active drivers at the average finish at Texas Motor Speedway at 8.5. Jimmy Johnson has a 9.8.
What about Chase Elliott? 7.2.
Apparently, they don't consider Chase Elliott in their NASCAR stats. He must not have raced there
Oh,
enough.
there you go.
So, all right.
we have conflict between Racing Reference and NASCAR.com.
There you go. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. 19 drivers have won. Who's had the most wins at Texas Motor Speedway, James?
That's got to be Jimmy Johnson. I'm not even looking. I'm just going to guess. That's Jimmy Johnson.
7 wins for Jimmy Johnson. 2007, 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015, and 2017. Oh, he swept it in 2015. Both
there you
races.
go.
So, 31 starts. Winning percentage of 22.5.
Jesus.
Nice. All right. Let's quit BSing with that. So, do I get the first pick? Is that official?
You are officially the first pick.
Oh God, who do I pick for this thing?
Are we outlawing anybody yet? Or is the field still wide open?
Should we outlaw Kyle?
I feel like Kyle's going to get the kibosh here pretty soon, but I'll still allow it.
Kyle either wins at Texas or implodes at Texas.
Kyle's pretty good at Texas, actually. Yeah, he does have some implosions though.
Usually it's the fall race. This is the track.
Most famously, the Ron Hornaday incident
Well,
that Kyle would like to forget.
Ron Hornaday are flipping off the official because that was Texas as well.
That was Kyle Busch's probably his lowest point.
Yeah.
Since, well, the broken leg was pretty bad, but yeah.
So do we want to take Keselowski and Busch out, or do we want to leave everybody in right now?
Let's leave everybody in for another week.
Okay. Well,
I'm not ready to banish anybody just yet.
I'm not going to pick either of those guys anyway. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm just completely winging it on this, but I'm going to say that Martin Truex Jr. gets it done here. Gets that win for JGR, and
it's a good pick.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you have any wins here?
He does not. So it'll be his first win here too.
Yeah, boy, that team's he's still good.
That one completely is winging it. So
that's still good. Okay, I'm gonna go Ryan Blaney.
Ryan Blaney's a good pick too.
I like the Penske speed, and I don't want to pick Brad Keselowski. So Brad doesn't have a win at Texas though. Just to mention that, Logano does have one win. But yeah, Ryan Blaney, I like the speed, and let's see if all the Penske cars can lock themselves into the playoffs.
Yeah, Blaney's due to get it done.
Yep.
All right, you get Dark Horse.
Oh my God, I don't even know what to do with Dark Horse anymore. I feel like the bottom of the field is so bad right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a good Dark Horse anymore. I will go with, who I think he's considered a Dark Horse, and you feel free to revoke me.
Okay.
Stenhouse Jr.
Yeah, he
does
I still
not
think
have
he's
a
dark horse everywhere but restrictor plate.
He does not have a top 10 finish, but I have a feeling he could be really good on Sunday. So Ricky Stenhouse.
All right, you're gonna go that route. So I will do something similar, and I will go less for the win. Who was I just looking at? Well, I lost him.
You know who's been sneaky good here in 2 starts is William Byron. Just mentioning some guys.
I was gonna go William Byron.
Sticking out.
I was really gonna go William Byron, but I'm like, I've done that so many times, and
got the crew chief that's won all those races with Jimmy Johnson.
That is true. That is true. All right, I'm gonna go really out on a limb and say somebody who has impressed in the past, does not have a great average finish at this track, in his 7 starts here, but ran good at Martinsville last weekend, and maybe he can improve on it this week and get a good finish. I'll go with Alex Bowman.
Oh, I like that. I thought you were gonna go with the burrito there for a second.
Nah.
He has there too, but yeah, I like that one. That's a good pick.
Yeah, I was leaning toward Ty Dillon because Ty ran well last week too, but
yeah,
I like Bowman. I want Bowman to do well. I want him to earn that ride and earn the opportunity to stay in that ride. I don't know what his contract looks like.
Yeah, I feel like he's hanging on.
Yeah,
I feel like he's hanging on. Some other guys, just to mention some guys for those fantasy nerds out there, and this could be good for our next.
Hold on, let me get my pen. I want to take some notes because I'm sucking at fantasy. So
yeah, me too. No, I'm the worst one to give it any advice. Chase Elliott, like we mentioned, is really good. 7.2 average finish. Eric Jones, 5 starts. He has a 10.4 average finish.
Yeah.
Let me see if there's any sleepers.
I know. I was thinking about Jones as a dark horse, but I don't know.
Bubba Wallace has 2 starts here. He has a 16.5 average finish. That's just actually pretty good for Bubba Wallace if you're looking for a little sneaky value.
They're just not running well. I mean, they're just not happy with their equipment.
No, I mean that team's in rough shape. But
you listen to him on the scanner, and they are just not happy.
No, he's not long for that ride. I feel like
I don't think so either.
If he has a chance to move, he's gonna have to take it.
Oh
yeah.
Anybody else stick out to you?
Not really. Those are kind of the ones that I Eric Almirola is really bad on the average finish chart, but he's also like in a new realm.
Yeah,
so
we've said that his stats don't matter.
Yeah, it's like he's in the Martin Truex Jr. like before he joined Furniture Row Racing.
Right.
Like Martin Truex Jr. was in no man's land. All of a sudden, he's like juiced his stats on. It's like almost like he's on steroids. Like he's juiced everything.
Right.
And I feel like Eric Almirola is in the bubble where he's about to juice his stats.
Yeah, I agree.
So again, you probably get him on some value too, but I think your best value is probably Eric Jones. He's probably a B driver that you can get. Sneak him in there and get a nice finish out of.
There you go. Any shout outs this week, James?
It's my grandma's 77th birthday.
Nice. Happy birthday.
And she does
Grandma.
not listen to the podcast, but I figure it's worth mentioning. And I did get a tweet from my hero, Nick Bromberg.
Yeah, I was wondering if you were going to go with that.
I feel like Nick Bromberg is like the version of me I'd like to be sometimes. So that was cool.
Yeah, that makes sense because I like Nick, but he irritates the crap out of me. So that's perfect. A perfect role.
I did find a good burn on the NBC Twitter page though. They put the duels down as a non-points race,
Yeah.
and that was a total Bromberg, and
You're
I felt like I had to reach out to Nick and be like, hey, man, this is actually a points race.
I was pretty proud of you that you got the reply.
It was a classic. It was such a Bromberg move. I was so proud of myself.
Yep, that was good. So Fantasy League. I don't have any shout outs, by the way. My shout out is how sucky I am at fantasy. I was really excited this week. Couldn't wait to sign into fantasy. It's like, I know I did well. I picked some good drivers. Yeah, I finished 6th out of 7.
Yeah, it was a rough week for you, but you're still beating me in the overall standings, so don't worry.
How'd you do, James, this week?
I actually did good.
James
not
got
bad.
James got second, 191.
Finally made some gains.
Hurricane Ditka was our leader, our winner this weekend, with 207 points.
Dude's racking them up.
Ranger Runyon was 3rd. Freight Train 295 was 4th. Justin 713 was 5th. The KB Show, that's me. I was 6th, and Scoters was 7th. And let's see where we at for overall. Justin 713 is leading the deal. Freight Train 295 is right behind him, about 1,000 points behind or 500 points behind. Let's see. Hurricane Ditka is 3rd. Scoters is 4th. Ranger Runyon is 5th. I am falling back to you, James. I am 6th now. And James is holding strong at 7th place, less than 1,000 points so far. So
not too shabby.
There you go.
I mean, I'm just hanging around.
You got the Bubba Wallace roll going back there.
Holy crap. It's been bad.
All right. We go to Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. It's the O'Reilly Auto Parts 500. Sunday, March 31st. TV time, 2:30 p.m. Race starts at 3. 501 miles, 334 laps. Kyle Busch was your winner last season. And it is a triple header weekend. We've got the Xfinity Series on Saturday at 12:30 p.m. Race starts at 1. It's the My Bariatric Solutions 300. What a race name. 300 miles, 200 laps, and then the Gander Outdoors Truck Series is back in action as well. They run on Friday night at 9 p.m. 9 p.m., but the race starts at 8:30, so I don't know how that works. But anyway, it is the Vancouver 350 for the Truck Series. 220.5 miles, 147 laps. So I don't know where they get 350 from when it's 220 miles, but I have given up on that. So Ryan Blaney was your winner in 2018 for the Xfinity Series race, and Justin Haley is your defending champion for the Truck Series. There you go. I think we got you ready for the weekend, right, everybody? I think we're all set there.
And yeah, we got you ready for the weekend and 2020. You're ahead of the game.
Yep, we got you all set up. So, James, where can they find you on social media if they want to find you during the week?
At Nick Bromberg on Twitter. No, at James Cush on Twitter.
I'm like, what is he saying?
Yeah,
you got me for a second.
I know. I threw a wrench into your closing of the show. We can never nail it, so I might as well get it out of the way right now.
You can find me on Twitter at see, you got me all screwed up, at TSuperspeedway on Twitter. You can find the podcast on Facebook.com/TheSuperspeedway. Our website is thesuperspeedway.com. You can find the podcast on there, different things we've done in the past, race coverage. My Bristol trip may be up in the air. I will fill you guys in more on that next week because I should know by then. Speaking of which, if I don't know by then, we have to do the podcast early. We'll figure that out, James. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, and SoundCloud, wherever you heard the podcast today. We hope you subscribe. And if you'd like to support us, become a patron at patreon.com/thesuperspeedway. Did I miss anything, James?
I think you nailed it, man.
I think we got it. All right, we go to Texas Motor Speedway this weekend. We'll be back next week to talk about it and preview Bristol Motor Speedway. So until then, everybody, let's go racing.